hope you're wrong, because if the Pacers win 4 in a row, they'll be nice and rested. They'll come into the TD Garden. They might give you a better series than the current Knickerbockers right now. So get out of here with this. This is going 7 as the day is long.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going 7. You know it's going 7. You know the Knicks are winning this one, and then the Pacers are winning that one.
Yep.
We are going to have to sit down with some point and figure out this top 10.
Yeah, I'm doing that with another guy. Picking the games. So it's going to be pretty basic. We'll get into that. Yep.
That's
I
not an
figure you're going to
overreaction.
get about a weekend to kick off.
It's entirely possible, and we're coming full circle. Came on the air today, first segment, started the show saying, why are we not ascribing to the
You checked Maury. That you listened to that. It was all right. Yeah, good. Mm-hmm.
Which is they are the heart of a champion, that they are going to be at the toughest out imaginable. They dig deep. They're a terrific team that's incredibly well coached. Nobody ascribes that.
All right, good to see people in here.
Nice team you got there.
Marvin, saw you at the Stones. Killer show. I agree. We're going to recap that today.
That's it.
Get myself something.
Oh, I know. Wait a minute. I was about to say, I can't believe PGA. Tell me how Rory's going to do it. Tell me how Rory's going to do it.
It's PGA Championship week.
Tell me how Rory's going to do it.
Rory
I
is
knew
going
it.
to beat Scheffler and Kevin to win this weekend.
You're out of your
Major
mind.
number 5.
You're out of your
Rory
mind.
time, baby.
Dude, I
Did you
knew it.
dominate
I swear
yesterday?
to you, I was going to say,
Did you see that
when I said
yesterday?
that's it, I'm like, where's the Rory's going to win this week?
Rory's winning the PGA this week.
You are like a broken clock. At some point, you're going to be right.
Rory's last
Get
major
out of
came
here.
10 years ago at this very
I hope
course,
you're
Mount
right.
Hollow, where they're playing the PGA.
I hope you're right.
Rory's finally going to
He's
do
got
it.
his mind right. I heard him, at Quill Hollow this
Well,
week.
Hollow
He wins
dominated
it.
over the
He wins
weekend.
it. I heard him on the practice tee talking about
That's right.
Nikki
That's
Glazer's
what I'm
line,
saying.
even though
He's focused.
he thought a male comedian said it. And there's nobody that ever mistakes Nikki Glazer for that. Let me tell you,
Rory time, baby.
you're out of your mind.
Jump on it, people.
I knew it. You're so predictable.
Rory time.
Scheffler's going to dominate. We all know it. Great overreaction Monday. Great Monday show. We'll be back to wrap it up on Roku in a sec. For the ones who keep stadiums buzzing and shop floors running, there's Grainger. Keep your operations humming with professional-grade maintenance, safety, and industrial products from Grainger. Offering supplies and solutions for every industry, plus same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, Grainger can help you stay on top of your game. Not sure exactly what you need? Huddle up with Grainger's product specialists. They'll tackle your toughest questions to help you move your team forward. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Doug.
Being a spokesperson's easy, kid. Just say, customize and save, Liberty Mutual.
Customize and save with Liberty Liberty.
That's not it.
Liberty Mutual.
Mm-mm.
Liberty Musical.
Nope.
Liberty line.
It's 2 words. Liberty Mutual.
Got it. Don't not pay at libertymutual.com.
Wow. I guess I'll just do it.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
That's a wrap.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Underwritten by Blackburn.
Raider Nation, what is up? It's your boy Q, and I want to remind you of all the multiple ways that you can listen to the radio station all over the world. Download the Raiders mobile app, open it up, and click on radio. It's that simple. Or if you're on the TuneIn app, you can check out Raider Nation Radio 920. Just search it. Take Raider Nation Radio wherever you are, wherever you live, all over the world by way of the Raiders mobile app. Click on radio or TuneIn Radio. Search Raider Nation Radio 920.
McFadden Industrial Hardware is your one-stop place to shop with everything you need for your next project. Catering to plumbers, HVAC, and construction workers, they open early so you can pick up what you need before the job. McFadden Industrial Hardware on South Decatur between Trop and Russell.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Celebrate your graduate with Portisub's 6-foot party trays. Feed 12 to 16 guests with free classic subs on freshly baked bread, topped with fresh veggies and sauces. Order your 6-foot party trays at portisubs.com or on our app. Portisubs, we're slicing up the quality and taste you crave.
When you need legal advice, you need the brothers. You need the DeCastroverde Law Firm. This is JT. They're my attorneys, and they should be yours too. For personal injuries and accidents, reach out to the DeCastroverde Law Firm. Let their family fight for yours.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie,
Trailblazer.
stylish, nimble,
Tracks.
innovative, electric.
Blazer EV. Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues. This season, spring into adventure together with Chevy of your choice. See your Southern Nevada Chevy dealers.
At PT's, our favorites are your favorites. Our usual is your usual. Our team is your team. Our games are your games. And our neighborhood is your neighborhood. It's why we've been the premier local hangout for great food, drinks, gaming, and sports since 1982. Because it's not just our PT's, it's your PT's.
This is JT from Las Vegas's premier cigar lounge, La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village. You're going to be blown away like I was when I stepped into their walk-in.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I got schedule release. We want the schedule release to be the focus of this week. What games do you want the Raiders to play nationally is the topic today. So if you want to jump into chat, what is the games that you got the Raiders schedule? I can't post it here. You know where they're playing on the road and at home. Give me one road game and one home game that you'd like to be national. That's either Sunday or Monday, not Thursday. I don't want to do any Thursday night. Christmas, whatever. Raiders just made it official with the stud offensive lineman. Good. Yeah, Bobby. The only other thing I see that we need is some training camp sound. They were playing a lot of that this morning. You have Antonio Pierce. Okay, I need 2 or 3 of those. Yeah. Yeah, it's official. Jackson Powers Johnson is officially signed. So everybody signed. Yeah, I would think that the Raiders home game against Kansas City, my guess is the Raiders home against Kansas City will be national, and then the Raiders road at New Orleans with Carr. They like TV matchups, Derek Carr versus the Raiders. I think that'd be good. All right, here we go.
It's time for JT the Brick.
It's a new day. It's a new chapter. It's a new era. It's a new mindset.
Kobe Myers in motion. O'Connell takes the snap, throws it out to him. He's going to throw to the end zone. Touchdown, Devontae.
I love hearing that.
I thought at the end of the year it was nice. Allegiant Stadium started to turn into a home field advantage. You could hear the roar of the crowd.
Well, to me, it's not just unconventional. It's the right way, and it's our way.
Vegas is the global hub of the Raider Nation. Now it's got to act that way every home game.
Raider Nation, as I always say, you show up and we'll show out.
JT the Brick. It's a real thing. It's a tangible thing. You get in the building and you feel it.
It's a war to track down Kansas City.
I've always been a big fan of running the football. Hand off to Zamir, cuts to the right side. First down 35, first 40, down to 50, near side 40, 35, 30, and Zamir White might have just salted away a Raiders win.
I'm always looking for opportunities to compete, man, and this is a great one here.
And now, Raider Nation unite!
Here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, as we start a fresh week here on the flagship of the Silver and Black on a glorious Monday. What's the temperature today, Bobby? I mean, it feels roasty out there today. 90 degrees. We'll have a high of 94 degrees today, a low of 67 rest of the week. What's our high this week? Friday, 97 degrees. Here we go. I like it that way. Big weekend. Went and saw the Rolling Stones, made the papers. Tell you about that a little bit later on in the show. Hope you had a great weekend. And this week, our focus is on the Raiders schedule release, the NFL schedule release, which will drop on Wednesday. I'll be in the Raider facility. We got some specialty programming that they'll let me know about. So we'll break down the schedule with you on Raider platforms. And then we'll probably spend, because I'm assuming the schedule won't be released when I'm on, maybe noon to 2. I don't know. Maybe it will. And then we'll have Thursday and Friday to go over it. I definitely spend a few days on the schedule. That's one of my strengths, I believe. One of the things I love to do in my career with the Raiders is dive into the schedule. I was taught that by Bruce Allen, former Raider GM, former senior assistant, who would take me in his office on schedule day back in the day and walk me through the games, the bye week, playing on a Thursday, playing the following Sunday, this, that, and everything, and gave me a couple of nuggets that I've been talking about my whole career here. I think the schedule, other than the dates are everything, right? The dates are everything. When they're going to play the games, we know who they're playing. But the issue is going to become, is it going to be hard early? Is it going to be hard late? And weather related. The Raiders have been very fortunate that they haven't played weather games, man. The Buffalo game last year was balmy and warm, right? They're playing Tampa this year in Tampa, in Miami. Weather shouldn't be a problem unless it's early. And one of those two games will probably be early in the humidity. And then they have dome teams that they play, such as New Orleans. But I think what's critical this year, as the Raiders have 8 home games and 9 road games, that's not really true. They kind of have 10 home games because they're playing the Rams and the Chargers in LA, and that's a home game for the Raiders. It's definitely a home game, especially against the Rams. And we know the Charger fans roll over for the Raider fans. Rams got fans. The Rams got fans, but they don't want to deal with Raider fans. So they'll sell you those tickets. So we got 2 games close to home, not any travel, real easy, and that's cool. And then what I want to do today, the topic I want to hit on today, to get you involved, because I'm really working hard to get you involved here more in May and June than in past years. It just seems like it's just, I don't know, if people are checked out, and they should be checked in more every day here. We ask you to focus for 2 hours a day. I don't care what other shows you listen to. They're all great here. But when I get on, it's faster. It's intense. We need some people to fight in here and get in here and have some opinions. So today the topic is very simple. I want to know what 2 games. I don't want to do 4 or 5. It's not going to happen. Well, what are the national games that you want for the Raiders? I need you to do this for me. I want 1 home game that's going to be nationally televised, which would be a Sunday or Monday night. Thursday's out. I don't want to hear about Thursday. Thursday's not a big deal. And then at Christmas, we don't know what's going to happen on Christmas, which is on a Wednesday this year. If you want to guess Christmas, you can guess it. But I want to get at least 2 games from you, 1 home and 1 on the road. I'll go first. So when the schedule comes out on Wednesday, I think the home national game should be Kansas City. Should be Kansas City no matter what. Kansas City at home. Give me that on a Sunday night or Monday night football. I'll take it. Got to have a big game for Kansas City. It's got to be here. They're the reigning champs. They're going for a three-peat. They're already a dynasty. They played in our building for the Super Bowl. We got to catch that game here at home. Doesn't mean we're going to get it. So Sunday or Monday there. The road game, as much as I don't want it to be a national game, I think there's a chance it could be New Orleans because they love television matchups, and it'd be Derek Carr in New Orleans against his former team, the Raiders, in New Orleans. I think that would be a really good Sunday night game. Sunday night in New Orleans or Monday night in New Orleans. It'd be cool if it's Monday because we can get a 3-day weekend out there. We can go in there on Saturday, take over the town, or Friday and be there all weekend, sleep in on Monday and have a Monday night game. That would be beautiful if that would happen there. So that's it. I don't want to go down 5 games. I don't want to guess 4. I want you to focus here if you're going to call in. Give me the home national game that you want to see and the road national game that you want to see. If the road game is at Tampa, Baker Mayfield, as they went to the playoffs, that'd be cool too. But that's what I'd like to see. What do you want to see? 702-365-9200 as we open up the show. So I'm excited about the schedule. We're going to do that for most of the week. Most of the week there. Breaking news, the Raiders made it official. So right out of the gate, the Raiders making noise. Our new offensive line juggernaut, our new stud, our new big boy is official. Jackson Powers Johnson, the club just announced he signed his contract, so everyone's locked in. And we got him. And look, he played some left guard. I'm penciling him in at right guard. He can play center. I think Andre James getting the contract extension to play center. I'm good with that. Andre James is a good player. This guy might be better than him at center. Might be better. He was better than him in college at the same age. But I just know that we got a starter on the offensive line. That is so important that he's going to be penciled in to start. You notice there's no shenanigans. You're not hearing, well, we're going to have to develop him in camp and we're going to have to develop JPJ. No. He's a starter. He's starting. He's a stud. He's starting, and we got a starter, obviously, in Brock Bowers. So that's good. And I give Tom Telesco the credit on that. Then our 3rd-round pick was a right tackle. I don't know if he's going to start or not, but he could be in the conversation. I'm not into rookie right tackles. Not into it. That's a dangerous position. That's like dropping a guy in the middle of a shark tank with great white sharks, putting a rookie at right tackle. I don't care how good he is. How good he is at all. Remember Alex Leatherwood got blown out of the league right out of the gate, and he won the Outland Trophy. So that we got a couple of starters that are going to be there. The rest are surprises. Harry Ruiz, the Latino voice of the Silver and Black, will join us at 12:30 Pacific time. We'll get into that. And our other guest later on, my buddy Maury Brown from Forbes, Baseball Insider, is going to check in on a Monday, go through baseball and some other financial topics. And then it's just you and me. And again, most of the time it's just me. So it's you and me when you want to check in, you want to tweet. I'm not reading texts. I'm not giving away koozies. You're not getting a shirt for a phone call yet. We just want to get some opinions here on the national schedule for the Raiders. Paul Gutierrez put it out. I retweeted it. I care about the national games a lot because I like the atmosphere of big, big, big games, right? Carla's in the chats. He said, we can beat Kansas City on Christmas again. Yeah, we could play that game on Christmas again, and that's Captain Obvious for the league. Christmas worked out really well, not for Kansas City. It was the last loss they had. It worked out well. A lot of people don't want to play on Christmas. It's a Wednesday this year. I don't mind that. I'm good with working on a Wednesday. We did last year. It was fun. It was a good day. It was a good Christmas. Christmas started late for me and my family that night. But it is a Wednesday this year, so that will be a national game if the Raiders get selected there. But I don't want to include Christmas or Thursday night. I want to include just Sunday and Monday night. As we found out today, the season opener for the NFL on September 5th will be Kansas City hosting Baltimore. So that was the first one leaked, and there's going to be some leakage coming up tomorrow. Some leakage. These people are going to leak it, and we'll find out. And I'm not going to leak it, but you'll find out pretty soon where the Raiders are going to be. And the other leaks are going to be the first Monday night game and Amazon Prime and what they're going to do. So they're going to let the broadcast partners leak it and tell you what they're going to do. And the first leak is Kansas City, Baltimore, which is always a fascinating game because of the loser of that opening Thursday night game doesn't play for 9 more days. 9 more days. So if you lose that game on a Thursday, you don't play till the following Sunday. That's a long time to wait to play with a loss. It's as long as you can wait in between a loss and another game. In Kansas City, they should win that game, but they'll be tested. And I'll mention this more in the second hour. But imagine if Kansas City, how about this for fun? How about Kansas City opens up at home September 5th, Thursday night, and lose? Baltimore beats them. And then the Raiders' home opener is the following Sunday against Kansas City in Vegas. And we'd have a chance to beat them and open up the season 2-0 and Kansas City being 0-2. Let that sink in. I just gave you something that no one else has given you. Follow me here. Raiders open up the season. They open up, say, at home against Atlanta or whatever it's going to be. We win the opener at home. Then we play the following Sunday we win the opener on the road. Say we open up on the road and we win. We come home for the home opener. It's Kansas City. And if we beat Kansas City and Kansas City loses to Baltimore, we're 2-0. Kansas City's 0-2. Highly improbable that happens. Highly improbable that the Raiders open up 2-0 and Kansas City 0-2. But the only way that could happen is that Kansas City's got to lose the opener on Thursday night to Baltimore. Just a big matchup. Man, that is a marquee matchup. So I'm excited about that. NBA playoffs, my Knicks let me down. They're up 2-0. They completely crapped out and lost 2 games in Indy. The last game was a blowout. Denver was down 0-2 to Minnesota. They flipped that series and won, which was incredible there. Unbelievable to see them do that. So the playoffs are important. I'm still trying to get people to talk NBA on this channel because there's a lot of Warrior fans and Laker fans. Even though you're out of the playoffs, you're NBA fans. You should jump on in and get on that. And as a couple of people have been saying, Blue 3M says, depends on our bye week too. When's our bye week? We got screwed last year on our bye week. I mean, the bye week was the longest wait that you could have for a bye week. Kind of ended up helping the Raiders a little bit down the stretch. And Antonio Pierce, as the Raiders got hot down the stretch, winning those 3 AFC West games and being there at the right time. But it was too long to wait for the bye week. You don't want the bye week in week 3 or 4, and you don't want the bye week in week 12 or 13. You like it kind of week 5, 6, 7, 8 looks pretty good on that. And the national games, the travel games, as I look at the opponents here, and as I opened up and I talked about the cold weather games, here's the potential for cold weather. So we haven't played a cold weather game in a while. We haven't played a cold weather game in a while for a team that's based in Henderson where it's about to get 115 degrees. So on the road this year, Denver, Kansas City, both cold weather cities. If we go there, at the end of the year. And we didn't. Last year we opened in Denver. And when we played on Christmas in Kansas City, as you remember, it wasn't snowing and freezing and an awful day. So we could get Denver and Kansas City in the cold this year. We could get Cincinnati in the cold. We could get Baltimore in the cold. And that's it. Our warm weather games this upcoming season are a lock to be the Rams, the Chargers, the Dolphins, the Buccaneers. I mean, those are 4 warm weather games. And New Orleans is in the Dome. So we do have a Dome game coming up. I think it's the only away game. Let me get this straight. Yeah, the only Dome game we have on the whole year, because SoFi and it being open, Tampa's open, Baltimore's open, Miami and the Rams. Again, I'm going to say the Rams is open because there's an open field element there. The only game we play in a dome, because all of our games are in a dome. This is important. All of our home games are in a dome. We like playing in a dome. More dome games for us, the better for us. We got 1 dome game at New Orleans. That's the game I'm predicting will be a national game. The home schedule's not great, but the place is sold out. It's the toughest ticket and most expensive ticket in sports. So they can line up Bishop Gorman, play Liberty, play Centennial, and we'd still be sold out. The home schedule, Cleveland, Atlanta, Carolina, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville. I say this again, very important. Some of these teams are good now, right? Some of them are good, but follow me here. Cleveland at home, a legendary doormat of a franchise. Doormat, garbage. Okay, they got Deshaun Watson, they're good. They got Myles Garrett, they're good. Don't act like they're Kansas City. If we can't beat Cleveland at home, toe-to-toe with Brock Bowers and the two-man tight ends, Atlanta coming here. Don't act like Atlanta. They've been a perennial doormat in the history of this league. Carolina is the worst team in football, bar none. Pittsburgh, with the terrible towels, come in. Pittsburgh's good. They're not great. Pittsburgh, this isn't Franco's Italian army coming in here, but Pittsburgh will have tickets. And then we get Jacksonville at home. Gardner Minshew's got a better track record than Trevor Lawrence in 2 years, and Trevor's gotten 3. Got to sweep Denver. I mean, Denver, and then Kansas City and the Chargers. I heard a radio guy today said, quote, "I don't think it's possible for the Chargers to win 12 games." I literally fell out of my chair. I rarely fall out of things. I fell out of my chair. I said, wait a second, 12? They won 5 last year, gave up 63 to the Raiders, lost Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams, and LA propaganda again telling you that the Chargers might not win 12. Oh, really? Might they win 10 or 11? Oh, yeah. LA propaganda has them winning 10 or 11. I just love this. And Bobby knows it's probably the craziest topic of the offseason every year. How much time have I spent in the offseason, just in Vegas history? I'm just talking Vegas Raiders, where every year the same clowns in the media say the Chargers are going to win 12 games and go to the playoffs. They haven't been right once. They figure they'd be right once. 1 out of 4 or 5 years they go, or they're doing something special. Nothing. Dead on arrival. So that's where we're at. A lot of people are asking about the national games. We're on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Just come on in there and you get in the show early. Get a chance to make some internet friends and get in the show and chat and find out what we're talking about before the microphone opens. And I got a chance to talk to everyone when we go to break here again. So I got a lot to get to today. I want to recap my night with the Stones. If you read Johnny Katz, Mick Jagger sat next to me at dinner. That was pretty mind-blowing. I'll tell that story specifically. And a good night, a really good night out on Saturday night, man. The Stones was just as good. That was my 16th show, and that was top 5. 80-year-old Mick Jagger was as good as I've seen. He was fantastic. And the sound was pretty good. Congratulations to Allegiant Stadium as the sound gets better and better. I thought the sound was great. I thought the service was good. I had a really good time. All right, let's open up the show and get going. If you call, I'm going to get to you. And if you're not there, I'm going to let you know. Jared in Vegas on the week of the schedule release. Go ahead, Jared. What's happening?
Hey, JT. Great weekend. I was at the Stones with my wife. It was an amazing show, our first time, and did not disappoint. Mick Jagger has set the bar for 80-year-olds because that dude is something else, man. That was amazing.
Was that your first Stone show?
That was my first Stone show.
Yeah, my son's too. My youngest son came with us, and I thought you caught a great show. I mean, I don't know if you'll ever see him again in Vegas. It's getting to that point, but if that was their last ever Vegas show, they really went out on top.
For sure, did not disappoint, not one bit. As far as the schedule goes, I'm looking at 2 games that I would really like to see nationally, and that's New Orleans. Just like you said, for personal reasons, I got loads of family out in New Orleans. My sister and her brother, or my brother-in-law, huge Saints fan, so I'd love to go out there and watch them go home disappointed. And the Atlanta, my dad is a huge Falcons fan, has been my entire life. Obviously, he couldn't change me because they were a dumpster fire my entire life. So I would love to bring my dad here and let him see what the nation is all about. Those are the 2 games I want. I want to see the Falcons on either a Monday night or a Sunday night. I hope it's a national game, but that's where I'm at. Let's go.
Thanks, Jared. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think the Raiders should get 3 national games. I'm not counting Thursday. So we know Thursday is going to be a national game. It's the only game. Thursday on Amazon Prime. They'll get that game at home or on the road. It'll either be at the Chargers or home to the Chargers. They seem pretty happy giving us that game on Thursday night. But then after that, 2 more national games, 1 at home and 1 on the road. And the road schedule, I think the road schedule is stronger than the home schedule. I don't envision that I'm going to whine like a schoolboy, the 12-year-old when the schedule comes out. I've been known to do that. Oh, yeah, I've been known to be the guy who is really uncomfortable, blanking and moaning about getting screwed on the schedule. I'm looking at this entire schedule here, there, and there's nothing that bothers me about the schedule. You got tough teams. You have to. You're in the NFL. The only thing that I would be concerned about is Baltimore and Kansas City. So Kansas City and Baltimore, 2 Kansas City, 1 Baltimore game on the schedule. Okay. If they put Kansas City and Baltimore close to each other, like a week apart, that could be nerve-wracking. So if we get Baltimore at home and then we got to go play Kansas City, Baltimore would be on the road. So if we have to go play Baltimore, travel cross country and play them, and then come back and have to play Kansas City, I'd be concerned about that. That's it. I don't know how they're going to spread that out. But, I mean, there's nothing to be scared about with the home schedule. Raider fans aren't scared of Kansas City, concerned. I love that home schedule in regards to degree of difficulty. Carolina, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Atlanta, and Cleveland. That's fine. I couldn't have drawn it up any better than that. I mean, who's the toughest team that the Raiders are going to play at home outside the division? Well, Cleveland, most likely. I think Cleveland is the best team of all that. A lot of people are crowning Atlanta as a new team that people are going to like there. I don't see it. I don't see it completely just yet. Carolina's a must-win. If you look at this, I had a buddy of mine who we bumped into at the concert. I was talking to him about the schedule, and he made a good point. If we sweep Denver, we the season ticket holders, those are 2 wins. Carolina's 3. Carolina's at home. That's 3. You split with the Chargers. You have 4 wins. They're only saying we're going to win 6.5. They're only saying we're going to win 6.5. I just gave you 2 versus Denver, 1 versus Carolina, and 1 versus the Chargers in a split. I got you to 4 already. And there's still a double-digit games left. Vegas thinks we're only going to win 6.5, which means they think we're going to win 6, not even 7. I mean, that the negative energy from the bent noses and the sharps on the Raiders, I don't see it. I mean, I don't think this team is a Super Bowl contender. I don't. They are not a Super Bowl contender, but they're a playoff contender. And there's good energy around the team. Good energy in Montana. Ron on the phone in Montana. Hello, Ron.
Hey, JT. Hey, thanks for taking my call, you and Bobby.
Thank you.
Hey, national home game, Chiefs and Raiders on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
And national game, road game, Chargers and Raiders in LA
Harbaugh
on Monday night. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. I could see a Harbaugh, a Raiders Monday night game on Monday night in LA, and that would be cool. That'd be a 3-day weekend for Raider fans in LA, and that'd be a home game for the Raiders. That'd be really cool, actually.
Yep. Thank you for taking.
Thank you. All right, appreciate it. That's what we're doing today. We're wondering through you, which are the 2 games you want nationally, home and on the road, 1 each. Be specific. We don't know the dates. We're going to find out on Wednesday. On Wednesday, take out the credit card. As I said, priority. Here's what you do. First thing you do is get a hotel room. New Orleans doesn't have. Well, New Orleans has a lot of hotels. They do. They're a Super Bowl city, but you got to. There's a couple of places. One thing about New Orleans is a good place for Airbnbs. If you're a Raider fan, you go with a couple of buddies, you rent a house right there in New Orleans. That's pretty cool too. So you get your plane, you get your accommodations first. You get your airline tickets second. You get tickets to the game third. There's always tickets available for a game, but there's not a lot of hotel rooms in a lot of these cities. I mean, in my career, I've been to Kansas City once. Never liked Kansas City. I don't. I like Vegas and San Diego and LA and San Francisco and New York. I'm not a big Kansas City guy. I've been there, done that. I promise you I'm not going to Cincinnati, most likely. The Queen City is not a destination for me. And the LA games are going to be great. I'm excited about Costa Mesa, man. I can't wait to cool off in Costa Mesa when we get the opportunity to be out there, and we don't know the specifics on that deal just yet. All right, when we come back, first the monologue's brought to you by PTs. Great place to pregame for concerts, anything 5 to 7, midnight to 2. Head on out to your local PTs here. They're everywhere. New ones online too. PTs fuels the monologue as we open up the show. The Spanish voice of the Raiders, Harry Ruiz, will join us next. He was out at rookie minicamp. He's got some nuggets for us from being out there. And then we're going to talk to Maury Brown, Forbes financial baseball guy, can do it all. We'll have a nice conversation with him coming up. And then my recap of the Stones and dinner next to Mick. It could have been cool if it was dinner with Mick. It wasn't. But it was dinner right next to Mick, which was a bucket list moment for me. Hey, we're back on the radio. It's Monday. Sound off like you got a pair, will you? All right, good start to the week. Raider Nation Drinking Club. That means Thor is there. Carl is there. Yes, sir. Kylie, I might go to the Charger game in L.A. You should. Jonathan, the problem the Raiders have in games in the Eastern time zone, they must get over that hurdle. Yeah, it's been a hurdle for a while, yeah. Steve says home primetime Pittsburgh, away Baltimore. Absolutely, I could see that. I could see that.
At 702-820-1234. That's 702-820-1234. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Hey, Vegas, Clay Baker here with you, and it's that time of the year when you really got to.
James Farrell, what a disgusting loss by our Knicks. Yeah, they were awful. Too many guys are hurt. Too many guys are hurt. I'm definitely worried about tomorrow. Marvin, JT saw you at the Stones Killer Show. Thanks again, Marvin. Good.
Is doing its job and avoided you from breathing in all these contaminants, but that filter needs to be clean. You can vacuum over and over again. It still doesn't get the job done. But Zero Res.
Yep, thank you.
For removing 200% more soiling and germs and all those contaminants than any competitor you can find. It returns your home back to
Give Harry a minute.
They
Yep.
do that with their own ZR cleaning process. Call Zero Res now and ask for the Clay Baker special. Carpets clean for as low as $35 per room. Plus, you'll receive a hallway clean for free. Call 702-840-3333 or go online at ZeroResLasVegas.com. Minimums apply.
This is JT for Grimaldi's New York style coal-fired brick oven pizza that you crave. 4 locations. Got up at 8 o'clock, went to the dentist, went for a nice walk in the park in Summerlin, nice long one. Watched a little TV for prep. And then tonight I will be at Wynn, Las Vegas for my residency every Monday, 4 to 7.
Every purchase of a Heineken. Plus, enjoy food and beverage specials for $5. Don't miss Vegas's best happy hour with 50% off drinks, 5 to 7 p.m. and 12 to 2 a.m. daily. With over 65 taverns, there is always a location near you. To find yours, visit ptstaverns.com. That's ptstaverns.com today.
Come see why thousands have made the switch to Finley Chevrolet. 215 at South Rainbow. Find new roads.
Findlay. Finley Chevy is a place to buy.
Sergio's pick is Pittsburgh Steelers home open. Passionate Raiders, says JT the Homer. Are you guys all into blocking this guy, this idiot who sits in his basement in Illinois and can't make friends with anybody and he has to troll people? Passionate Raider, would you like to comment on that? Or would you like to sneak in on the radio and get your rocks off by sneaking in and calling this show? What would you like to do, Passionate Raider? You make it up, dude. I love the block button. And once I blocked you on radio and social media, I've never heard or saw from you again. So it's real easy to make you anonymous. I don't think you could be any more anonymous. So you tell me. Well, I can actually, maybe I can, here's my options for Passionate Raider. Remove, hide user on the channel, or put him in a timeout. Passionate Raider, I found something that your family should do for you when you act like a deranged psycho. We can put you in timeout, and maybe you'll behave in timeout, and then you can get back to your Raider life and do that. I will tell you, I'm pretty juvenile on social media. I'm not very good at it. Some people love it or whatever, but once you end up blocking someone, which some people say it's immature, JT, why would you block someone? Why? No. When you block these people, you never, ever hear from them again, and you don't miss them, and you don't think of them ever again. So it's kind of cool. If they're cool, then you can make friends, or you can talk on the chat, and you can go to games together.
Brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Yeah, I think it was just part of my work ethic, just getting in there, getting to work, and learning the playbook as fast as I can. Because I think that makes a huge difference. Like, my mind's racing out there, so I feel like I can't go as fast as I need to be going at this level. And yeah, it's just playbook's a big part of it. Because I can play at full speed and everything.
That's Brock Bowers. That's Brock Bowers, who can handle everything. He played at Georgia. You think they run some good practices at Georgia? You think Kirby knows how to the guys who play on Georgia are all in the NFL. I don't believe that a college team can beat an NFL team. I don't. But I think the best Georgia team of all time playing Carolina, all the guys in Carolina didn't play at Georgia. Georgia was better. So all the Georgia players are better than the Carolina players if they go to the NFL. So why couldn't Georgia beat Carolina with Brock Bowers? I don't know. Did Carolina have a guy that could cover Brock Bowers? But, we give the NFL guys the lead, but not much over Georgia, man. Those Georgia-Alabama teams. Good to have you. I hope everybody had a good weekend. 702-365-9200. He was out at rookie camp. Always great to talk to the Latino voice of the Silver and Black with all his platforms. Harry Ruiz. Harry, give us some takeaways over there in Henderson. What'd you like?
What's up, JT? Always a pleasure catching up with you. Also, always great being able to chat a little bit with my man Bobby over there in the controls. I thought it was a good practice for the 30-plus guys that were out there, especially those first-year players, those that were drafted, that were undrafted as well. They started getting their first taste of what coaching in the NFL is, the difference with it. And you also saw some of the coaches trying to be patient with the guys, with the amount of repetitions, with some guys knowing how many, some others not, but them also knowing, hey, it's their first practice ever in an NFL field. So it's all about learning. And of course, the Raiders only had one quarterback out there, Gus Bradley's son from South Alabama. He was the lone quarterback, but somebody that really caught my eye was Ramel Caden, the wide receiver, undrafted free agent. That he was able to get a couple of plays where I was like, yo, this guy, you got to keep your eyes on him. And it was funny. I went on Twitter and saw his profile, and his bio just says DB assassin, defensive back assassin. And he lived up to the hype right there while he was out there on the field.
Now, Harry, it's going to be interesting because there's not a lot of room at the wide receiver slots already with Michael Gallup, the additions of a couple of veterans here, along with Devontae, Trey Tucker, and Jacoby Myers. So every year, as long as I've been doing this, I don't spend a lot of time on the sixth receiver. We do the preseason games, you and I. And when we do it, by the end of preseason, we come down to the final cut. And there's always who's going to be the sixth wide receiver. I don't see that being a huge topic this year, considering the contracts they've already given out to veterans.
But you know what, JT? How many years has it been where we've had Demarcus Robinson coming in to compete, that we've had Willie Snead come in to compete, and they don't make it through that final cut, and they end up getting somebody that they either drafted or an undrafted free agent, or somebody coming back from the previous year that ended up being a guy that, like Christian Wilkerson last season, who had a killer game in the final preseason game out there in LA, and he ended up earning a roster spot with the Raiders. Then he stayed with the practice squad. But the wide receivers, the Raiders are stacked right now. They got Davante Adams and Jacoby Myers, and that's a duo that that they're not going to be off the field very often. They got Trey Tucker, a guy they got a lot of trust on, and there's an opening. Hunter Renfrow, he's not with the team anymore, so there's a spot to be taken. Now it's about, will it be a veteran like a Jalen Guyton, or will it be a young guy coming in as a new guy on the squad?
Harry Ruiz is our guest. Check him out on all the platforms, especially what he does with the Raiders. Also at Raiders.com with his podcast. So, Harry, this 12, the 12-man personnel that we're going to see, the 12 personnel and the 2 tight end set, I'm excited about it, and we're fair on this show. We're pro Raiders. We're fair with the Raiders. They have to knock out this 12 personnel package very quickly here. This cannot be a work in progress. They're 2 young players, Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers. Typically, I would say, well, we got 2 young bucks there. It's going to take a couple of years for them to develop. No. They were super elite in college. They have to be super elite now. I don't care how old they are, how young, lack of experience. They're football players. Luke Getsy's got to nail this game plan, have these 2 guys practicing with all these unique setups, make sure it clicks early, either for Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. I think the quarterback battle is going to come down to who's better in 12 personnel. Gardner Minshew is clearly better than Aiden O'Connell. Can Gardner Minshew prove in the preseason with the 2 tight end set that he can move the pocket and get the ball to Brock Bowers in space so he could have yards after catch? How do you see it?
Absolutely. And you know what? What AP said was right also on Friday, that he feels that Aiden O'Connell earned the right to get that first snap once practice starts in training camp. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that at the end of training camp, at the end of preseason, Aiden O'Connell will be the guy to get those first snaps. But if he does, that means that he earned that right also by competing against Gardner Minshew. It's going to be a competition. And look, you look at tight ends. Look at last season, Dalton Kincaid with Buffalo. Look at Sam Laporta with the Detroit Lions. Both of those guys went out and balled out. We know that Michael Mayer, it took him a little bit to adapt, but he started playing real well midway through the season. And unfortunately, an injury ended up cutting his rookie season short, but we started seeing him flash out there on the field with the kind of potential that he has. Now, year 2, completely recovered from an injury, he has to be a big weapon. And the best part, JT, is that they're 2 tight ends. Yes, they got the same position next to their names on the roster sheet, but they're completely different players. You look at what Brock Bowers brings to the table, you can line him up anywhere on that line, and he's going to be able to produce for the Silver and Black, and that has to be something scary for the opposition, where you don't know if you're comfortable putting a linebacker against him because he's too fast, or if you're comfortable putting a safety against him because he's too big. So that's the kind of mismatches that the Raiders want, especially having a Davante Adams and a Jacoby Myers on the field as well, because they won't be able to double team him.
Harry Ruiz joins us. Home opener September 5th for Kansas City. They take on Baltimore. So the topic of the day today on Raider Nation Radio is, what's the one national game and one road national game that Harry Ruiz would like to guess? Don't want Thursday night football. I'm only talking Sunday night or Monday night. Pick a game at home and on the road that you think would be a good fit for the Raiders and the schedule.
Don't worry, JT. I don't like those Thursday night games. It's short prep for the players, short prep for me. I think it's pretty obvious what everybody's thinking with that game against the Saints being marked up as a primetime game, a party in New Orleans. Raider Nation always shows up over there in the Big Easy. So I think that one's going to be it, but I'm going to go another route. I'm going to go with that Cincinnati game. I think it's going to be a good matchup on the road for the Silver and Black. Joe Burrow being out there on the field, having the weapons, the kind of weapons they have, the kind of weapons the Raiders have, the defensive matchups, having Trey Hendrickson on one side, having Max Crosby on the other. I think that's going to be an attractive matchup that could end up potentially being a Sunday or Monday night football game. And when you look over at home, there's not a lot of opportunities when you talk about outside of the Chiefs, which is the one that everybody thinks that might happen. So I'm just going to go out on a flyer and say that they might want to pit the Falcons against the Raiders, because you look at that storyline over there with Kirk Cousins being potentially a guy that the Raiders might have had their eye on. They were looking at quarterback. So I think the Falcons game would be interesting. It's their first time out here at Allegiant Stadium. You know that Atlanta fans are going to travel as well. Not as big as the Pittsburgh fans, but I'm going to throw that one out there. So I'll say go unconventional, like everybody is potentially saying Saints and Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Bengals and the Falcons.
Good. Harry Ruiz, as we wrap it up. I haven't talked to you since the Costa Mesa news broke. You go to a lot of Dodger games, so I can envision you on a Tuesday night going to Raiders practice and maybe getting up to a Dodger game, which you love your Dodgers. And that'd be cool. A little cool weather, hopefully, getting out of Henderson. What'd you think about that announcement?
I was actually talking with Paul Gutierrez on Friday during rookie mini camp, and we were looking at the schedule, and the Raiders are playing the Giants at Dodger Stadium. They will be playing the Padres in San Diego, so there's going to be the possibility to go out there to LA to go watch the Dodgers. I don't got good memories because I went a couple of weeks back on Jackie Robinson Day, and they lost to the Nationals. But I really like this, JT. And here's something that maybe fans that are complaining online about it don't know. The intention of the Raiders when they moved to Vegas and built that beautiful headquarters wasn't to have training camp at headquarters every single year. It happened because of the pandemic, because of the COVID seasons and everything that went around it. But they wanted to have training camp elsewhere. And this season, I think it's fantastic to go over to LA, have good weather, being able to, Orange County, being able to avoid having to practice at 7 in the morning to not have to battle 110-degree weather at noon. So I think that's great. Being away from your usual life, which is fantastic, having kids, wives, families, friends, everything. But being able to just go and bunker down for 3 weeks and make this team even tighter, that I think will benefit the team a lot. So I think it's a win-win for the Silver and Black.
I agree with you, Harry. There's nothing wrong with getting out of Dodge when it's this hot. It's not ideal. They have an indoor practice facility for a reason. When weather's not ideal, they can go in there, but it's not ideal to have to practice at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning when you don't have to. They still might. They might practice early out in Costa Mesa. I don't know. I have any idea what the schedule is going to be, but I got a beautiful
JT,
building.
Another nugget. People say, well, they have an indoor field. Yeah, but it's a field and a half. It's 150 yards. There's 90 players during training camp. It's more difficult to accommodate 90 players in a field and a half that is air conditioned. So that's why they were mostly practicing outside in the 3 big fields, because then you can split 90 guys in 3 fields easier than when it is just in a field and a half. So that's something that people don't consider.
Thank you, Harry. You're sitting in for me next Tuesday. It'll be a good show. Always appreciate having you on a Monday.
Absolutely. JT, always a pleasure, my man. Hope you had a great time. I'll keep listening to hear the stories about you having dinner next to Mick Jagger.
Yes, you could stay tuned for that. There he is, Harry Ruiz, the Latino voice of the Silver and Black. Part of our tree here at Lotus Broadcasting. We brought Harry in to do more and more because he's good and he grinds and you got to work to be on this show. It's not hard to do 2-hour radio show. Actually, it's very easy. But the people that we count on for information, my eyes and ears, who are in the locker room, at practice, the insiders, and we are adding a very unique insider to the show. Very unique. An internet sensation. I normally don't add internet sensations to the show. I will not make the announcement, but every year, the last couple of years, we bring in new insiders. And I'm bringing in, I think, 1. This year, maybe 2. And the 1 is an internet guy who's very strong on the World Wide Web. And very good to the point where my son said, Dad, get him in there in the rotation. And he agreed to do it. So we can guess who that's going to be. But that'll come up in our insiders. And yes, as Bobby was asking me today, we're doing the top 10 Raider games of all time. That will be our summer programming. Summer programming is different than regular season programming. I think y'all get it. Y'all see it. When the season starts, it's balls to the wall. It's hardcore. Every game, do or die. Summertime, no. Summertime, we do some summer programming. We loosen it up a bit, and we try to get through the summer, keep you informed and entertained to the best of our ability. So I like the chemistry on this team a lot. I think the chemistry is unbelievable, and the chemistry is going to be really good. So as Bobby's telling me there's someone there, there's no one there. So we'll see what happens as we open it up and get going here. If you want to get through, 702-365-9200. That was my bad Bobby. Jorge in San Jose. What's going on, Jorge? Energy. Okay, energy from you. You're good. Yeah, let's get some energy. Let's go. Go ahead. Okay. Okay, that's more important. The therapy room's more important than your job than the show. So thanks for calling. Go ahead.
I'm definitely pumped about this season. I still haven't gone to Las Vegas, JT, but I think for the home season, as far as prime time, I really feel like the Raiders, although they don't get a lot of favors with the schedule, I think that they're going to have at least 4 primetime games, and I'm hoping that they get a good amount at home. I think Chargers, just because of the whole Harbaugh, I think that the league is going to want to give the Chargers a lot of spotlight, and I think having them at home would be a great opportunity to have a lot of people from LA come to Las Vegas and just have a big showcasing. I also feel like, Russell Wilson coming back to Allegiant as a Steeler would be a great home. And then for the away games, I know a lot of people are going to be calling in, probably saying the Saints or probably saying Baltimore. I really feel like Tampa on a Monday night would be a good primetime slot, just because you have Baker Mayfield, you have a rematch. We haven't played them again since that complete disaster on that Thursday night against the Rams. So I would really like to see. And the reason why, JT, is because I feel like the Raiders need to get 3 out of 4 wins against the NFC South. That's just important. That's been an inferior division. No disrespect to Derek Carr or to Tampa Bay or anything like that, but we've shown that we're more competitive. And my prediction was, that I had KC in week 1 against the Raiders. Obviously, that's not going to be the case, but I still believe that the Raiders are going to play Kansas City.
I like KC early.
The first 4 games.
Yeah, I like that. Thanks, Jorge, for the
first
call.
4 games.
Appreciate you. Thank you. I like an early game with Kansas City before they get all worked up and they're clicking. I like Kansas City early, win or lose. If we don't beat them, we don't beat them. But I'd like to get Kansas City early in the season, and then we always get them late in the season. It'll be one of those games. It'll be the final 3 games, and we got to hope that the game matters. And they have mattered here in Vegas. Look, Vegas, we've made the playoffs once since we've been in Vegas and lost to Cincinnati. The team's been close and very competitive every year in Vegas, except the Josh McDaniels year at the end. And they made a change with the coach. Antonio Pierce is going to be over the top excited when the schedule comes out. I promise you, when the schedule comes out, if we don't get coach early, or I talk to him privately, he's going to be worked up for this because of the 2 games in LA. He's an LA guy to get the 2 games in LA. And Antonio Pierce is finally going to lead this team as the de facto head coach, not interim, into Los Angeles for the Chargers and Rams. And believe me, I can't guarantee it, but believe what I'm telling you, he will have the army of the LA Raider Nation specifically ready to go. Promise you. We try to get everybody going equal. Antonio Pierce is going to have an army of LA Raider fans coming into LA for those games. I can't imagine what his ticket request is going to be for him and his family personally. But you got to win those games. Got to win those games here. Most people who play the Raiders think they're going to beat the Raiders. If you listen to the propaganda out in LA, they're like, the schedule comes out. Well, the Raiders will beat the Raiders. Oh, the Raiders are on a schedule. Cincinnati will beat the Raiders. No, that's coming to an end. As Antonio Pierce said, they got a bunch of dogs now on this team. I mean, dogs who fight in the back alley brawls now. Raiders are not a rollover to anybody. And the lazy term now for national media is the Raiders don't have a quarterback. How dare you? How dare you they don't have a quarterback? They got Gardner Minshew who can play and win in this league, and Aiden O'Connell was drafted in the 4th round. He wasn't a throwaway pick, and he played pretty well last year and won some critical games. Raiders have quarterbacks here. They're not super elite, and they probably tried to get one and couldn't get one. Eventually, they're going to have to get one. I wish they would have got Jaden Daniels. It was never possible. 702-365-9200. If you want to get in today, give me the one national game, home and on the road. So 2 total you want to see. Pick a home game. It's got to be Sunday or Monday night that you're hoping for, and a road game on Sunday or Monday night. And we'll talk about some of the streaming devices that are popping up in the NFL coming up next. Big second hour of the show. Bisbal Maury Brown on baseball. Yes, I'm talking baseball because it's bleeping May. And I'm talking the NBA playoffs because it's May. And Raiders rookie camps seem to be a good success. We'll have some sound coming back on the other side. Good to have you here on a Monday, on a beautiful day in Las Vegas. Brought to you by the DeCastro Verde Law Group. If you get into an accident, call 702-222-9999. Yeah, we put Passionate Raider in timeout, and it actually there's a feature called timeout. Yeah, I was going to leave him. I was going to leave him alone, but I didn't know YouTube had a timeout feature. I love timeout. Please hit subscribe and like. Thank you. Yeah, I do. We on this? Pierce pressure. Oh, okay. Yeah. 2 tight end sets. Mhm. So there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. All right, everybody. We're going to go another probably 10 minutes on this. Take the first hour on YouTube. Second hour is more interview based and whatever. Jorge, JT, do you think the Nuggets, the Wolves are going to Game 7, man? The Nuggets look like they figured out the Wolves. It took them a couple games. They were all over them. Tony, team chemistry, yes.
Celebrate with Remy Martin Cognac, XO, VSOP, and 1738. Remy Martin, team up for excellence.
Finley Volvo invites you to discover the first pure electric SUV from Volvo, the XC40 Recharge. Volvo's first battery electric SUV is fully connected, featuring the first infotainment system designed and built by Google and powered by Android.
Hey Google, turn up the heat.
With Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store built in, along with legendary Volvo safety, it's the SUV.
Pearl Jam this weekend.
Learn more about the XC40 Recharge at FinleyVolvo.com.
It's Ash from Salmon Ash Injury Law. At Salmon Ash, we don't just handle cases. We take care of people. Salmon Ash started this law firm to provide injury.
I can't believe the Golden Knights are out of it, and Vancouver's going to beat Edmonton, it looks like. Jesus.
As we walk them through the legal process with patience and clear communication. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Salmon Ash. 702.
Thor's saying, I honestly don't care if we don't get any primetime games because when we win 12 games, it'll shock. Yeah, I like primetime games, man. Season tickets, I want to be at big events, Rolling Stones, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. I like the big stuff, the big sporting events, the big games. Thank you.
We're going to play a different one coming back.
Yeah.
Indeed you do.
All right, I got to get to the win tonight from 4 to 7.
Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75.
Oh, man.
Terms and conditions apply.
Long weekend.
Hey homeowners, Aaron and Jacob Taylor here, the real estate guys, shaking up the real estate game in Nevada. Listen up. This is big, folks. Thinking of selling your home? Get ready for a game changer. Picture this. List with us and pay as little as $1 commission. Yep, you heard it right. $1. But hold on, it gets even better. We're not your average real estate team. We're the ones who handle repairs upfront,
All right.
offer cash advances, and buy distressed homes for cash in 24 hours. And let's not forget, JT, we're the kings of marketing and advertising, obviously. So call the real estate guys today. 702-310-6683. That's 702-310-MOVE. EXP Realty, license number 38886. Call for details.
Talk to Aaron Taylor,
The real estate guy. Nick here with Stefanos. Ditch the burgers and fries and go Greek. Stefanos Greek and Mediterranean Grill with 4 valley-wide locations. Stefanos' delicious menu includes the best-tasting gyros, kebabs, shawarmas, and tastiest Greek salads.
What's up?
With our house-made dressings. Make sure to try our tzatziki and garlic sauce as well. Check out our newest location on Blue Diamond and Decatur.
What day is a good day for Lon Kruger?
Wednesday, Thursday,
Since
Friday.
1998. Real food, real
Okay.
fast, real healthy.
welcome back
It'd be a
to the
good Friday at
JT the Brick
12:30, you know what I
Show.
mean?
Brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
Yeah, I don't think it's more about the heat. It's about team bonding. When I played in the National Football League,
He's talking about going to Cali.
I was traveling and going away and kind of bumping up. 90 or 85 players at a time, whatever it was, and team bonding, getting together, getting to know one another, get away from all the distractions. All about ball, just ball. You know, I want us to be the tightest group of Raiders that hopefully this organization has seen, and that's what we're going to grow and build on. and get that physical toughness that we want to build on the training camp. And yeah, does it help that it's a little cooler? No doubt. But more importantly, I think it's just good for our team to bond, to get away and just focus on us.
Antonio Pearson going to California, Costa Mesa for some training camp. I agree with him. I would agree with him normally if I think what he's saying right. I was saying this the second it came out. The weather is ideal over there, or it's a lot better. We don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully no wildfires, no bad air quality, which could happen in Southern California, but a nice fit, I think, for the team going forward. The big thing that I'm trying to be delicate with or sidestep a little bit with, these guys are younger than me by a bunch. Okay, these guys in their 20s and mid-20s and late 20s who are having their first kid. When I had my first kid, I worked for the Raiders and was at training camp, but I wasn't a player, right? I'm not a player. I don't think it's great for young players to be at home changing diapers after training camp practice. That's just me. And it's not a bad thing. It's great. All men should change diapers and do that. But my point is, it's kind of tough to focus in on ball when you're not in a dorm room in some crappy dorm at a college when you're a professional player who drives a Rolls Royce and has diamonds all over your wrist. It's kind of nice to be humbled and go to a college campus and have curfew. And I'm not a big curfew guy. I stay out late a lot. But when you're playing football and you're not in the team hotel, or the rookies are, but you're not as a veteran, most of these Raider players are going to go home and go to bed. They're exhausted. They're tired. They worked out, lifted weights, were in meetings all day. But it's kind of nice when you have to be in the team ballroom for a meeting and a snack at 10 p.m. instead of being in your backyard or hanging out and getting in the car and going through drive-through and not have any supervision at all. I mean, I'm all for that, man. You get to training camp, it's work. Ask Villapiano, Bolitnikov. Ask all the guys who were up in Santa Rosa. They got after it pretty good. When they had a free night or a free day, they broke curfew a lot, but they played hard for John Madden, and their practices were much more difficult. Let that be said as I wrap up this hour. The Oakland Raiders of the 60s and 70s practice a lot harder than the Raiders of today. Not because the Raiders don't want to practice. They're not allowed to practice. They're not allowed to be in pads. They're not allowed to do two-a-days. And they did it back in the day with primitive equipment, primitive shoulder pads, primitive helmets, and it was hot, and they didn't have the nutrition. They didn't have salmon in the cafeteria. I go in that cafeteria, man, it's like a five-star chef. I mean, the players today are spoiled to the 10th degree, hot and cold tubs. Those other guys used to jump in barrels. Now they have these hot and cold tubs and cyber chambers you jump into after practice and unbelievable uniforms and workout equipment. They would tell me back in the day, you go in your locker room, you get your clean laundry in the morning in a bag, in a net. You get your one practice shirt, your one practice shorts, and one pair of socks. That's not the case anymore, man. These guys got it pretty good. So get them in training camp, make it hard, make it physical. Have to. They're shutting the quarterback down in the preseason. How many years you remember me saying Derek Carr's not going to play? I mean, Derek Carr wasn't Johnny Unitas, Joe Montana. We didn't play Derek Carr in the preseason. Like we had him in bubble wrap. It wasn't like Derek was taking us to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl, but we didn't want to get him hurt. We're past that now. We got two quarterbacks competing. They play in the preseason. They practice every day. The guy who comes through, it's going to start. The other guy's going to back him up and be ready to go. Training camp needs to be very efficient under Luke Getsy, and all indications is it will be. It's got to be really efficient for Luke Getsy to get in this 12 personnel and figure it out quickly so it's easy for the young players on this team. You got two young tight ends, Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers. They have to be elite this year. No training wheel stuff, man. No training wheels. You come out and you put them in there like they're Ferraris. You open it up. Hour number one brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo. The number one beer in America is Modelo, everybody. Big second hour coming up as I say goodbye to my YouTube friends. Thank you for coming in. All right, YouTubers, appreciate it. Appreciate it. We'll be opening up the show a little bit earlier now. We're going to open it up at like 11:50 Pacific, 11, right around that time. We'll have 10 minutes to kind of warm up and get your opinions. I really appreciate the chat and what you guys are all talking about. Thank you very much. And we're going to have a good rest of the show. You know how to listen to it on the Raiders mobile app, or you can check it out on Raider Nation Radio. Also, LVSportsNetwork.com WinBet.com has the live feed. I'm on the Win tonight. Take care, everyone. Ooh, hit the wrong button. Take care, everyone. See you, everybody. Thank you.